Today I am making bagels, but not just any kind of bagels. I am making sourdough bagels. It's so simple to make, let's get going. The reason why my dough is already in the fridge is because I actually started preparing this yesterday. So lots of times when it comes to making something with sourdough, it's kind of like a little bit of a preparation in advance. But the preparation to making your bagels is very simple. When preparing your dough to make your bagels, you're going to add to your mixing bowl your salt, your honey, your water, your starter, and then half of the flour that you need for the recipe, so around 280 grams. You're going to incorporate that all well, and then you're going to put this on a stand mixer with a dough hook. If you don't have that, you're just going to need a little bit more elbow grease to mix everything together, and then you're just going to gradually add your flour as it's incorporating in, so maybe somewhere around half a cup of flour until it's well incorporated into your dough. Once your flour is well incorporated and you've got a nice dough ball, you're going to leave it out on your counter. So this is how I do it. I leave it out on my counter covered for the afternoon until the evening, just kind of letting it settle, because you're going to realize that it's a very, very stiff dough. So I just let it kind of settle. And then overnight I proof it in the fridge. That's the only steps before getting your bagels ready and preparing your dough. From this to this, by letting sitting out on the countertop for maybe 6 hours and then proofing in the fridge for maybe another 8 hours. So now all that's left to do is to shape our bagels. So we're going to divide our dough into 8 equal parts. I like to use my kitchen scale just so that I have proportionate bagels. I like them to be all roughly the same size. So I kind of weigh my dough, divide it by 8 because it makes 8 bagels, and then roll them into 8 equal balls to make my bagels. So let's do that. So my bagels need to be about 118 grams for each. Look how nice and light and spongy this dough is. Try to be gentle. Just kind of roll them into a nice formed ball. You can flatten it a little bit. And just do this 8 times. So once you've got all your dough, all your bagels measured and cut up, what you're going to do is you're just going to make a hole in the center of your bagel. Wouldn't be a bagel without it. And just kind of stretch it out a little bit and shape it. I set it on a parchment paper, and I actually cook it on this same parchment paper. Now that all my bagels are formed, I am going to cover them up with a damp cloth, and we have to let them sit for another 1 to 4 hours. This kind of helps them to kind of puff up and kind of expand a little bit. So I'm going to put them in the oven with the oven light on, just to create a little bit more warmth, so hopefully they'll rise a little bit faster. And they don't have to be huge, just, you see that they gain some airiness to them and some lightness to them. So we're going to get that done. Now that my bagels have had a chance to rise a little bit, puff up a little bit, now we're going to move on to the next steps. The next thing I have going on is I've preheated my oven anywhere between 400 and 425 depending on your oven. I find when I put my oven at 425, the bottoms of the bagel get a lot darker than the top quicker, so I kind of put it at like 410. And I have a pot of water boiling. Why, you ask? Because we have to boil the bagels 2 to 3 minutes before we put them in the oven. I know, very strange, who would have thought, but that's how it's supposed to be done. In your pot of water, you're going to add a tablespoon of sugar. It doesn't really matter what kind of sugar you put in. You can put white sugar, brown sugar, coconut sugar, whatever you feel, and a tablespoon of cornstarch. So you are going to put your bagels inside of the boiling water gently, and just depending on the size of your pot, don't overcrowd. I can fit 4 bagels inside the pot. And you're going to time that there for 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes. I have a plate here with a cloth on them, so once we take them out of the water, we need to put them on the cloth just to remove the excess water. So these have been in the water for 2 to 3 minutes. I'm going to remove them, place them on the cloth. If you want to add seasonings to your bagels, like everything bagel spice, or the time where you would do it. You're going to return the last 4 bagels to your boiling water. Wipe off all the excess water from these bagels, and then I'm going to put them on this. Last batch of bagels are done. Put them on the cloth. Add any seasonings that you would like. So now we're going to pop these in the oven for about 25 minutes. We want these to come golden brown, so just keep an eye on them. I did end up flipping them about halfway just so that they don't get too dark underneath, because they really seem to get, in my oven anyways, which isn't necessarily the best, get darker underneath. So I just flipped them, and then when there was a couple minutes left, I flipped them again just to keep things interesting. I am going to cool these down on a wire rack, but I will cut into them just to see how good, they're hot, how good they are, how delicious they look, and give them a little bit of a taste. All right, let's cut into this, see if I can hold it. Let's try this bagel. It's dripping with butter. Perfect. Still steaming. Delicious. So I hope I've shown you how simple it can be to make delicious sourdough bagels. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you like my channel. If you do, don't be shy, give it a big thumbs up. And be sure to check back again soon to see what other videos I will have coming up.